Well, folks, you know you're in for a treat when you hear that tune because it's time for another week of the Rec Poker Podcast. But we have a special episode coming at you today on Friday, February 16th, because the World Series of Poker has just released their schedule. And like every year, we are the luckiest little buggers in the world because Kevin Mathers, the one and only Kevmath, is here in the booth with the Wrecking Crew to break the schedule right here in real time. I'm so excited for this. So I guess I should say this is the Rec Poker Podcast, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I have to thank our sponsors, the amazing Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino. Find out more about them at runaces.com. If you don't know what's going on around here, my name's Jim Reed. I've got the best freaking job in the world, hanging out here talking with my poker friends about the world of poker on the Rec Poker Podcast. But I am just one person. It takes a group, a gang, a crew to make the magic happen here at Rec Poker. If you want to find out about me or the rest of the Wrecking Crew, as we call our leadership panel, you can go to rec.poker/crew, or you can just listen up because you're going to meet a few of them right here on the show right now, starting with Joseph Wills.
Hey guys, I'm Joseph Wills. I'm hockey_poker on Twitter, and check out my series on the website called Be a Better Fish, because we all want to be a better fish.
That's right. Kim?
I'm Kim Kilroy. I'm PetVet or PetVet33 on social platforms. And I run a hand history review group for Rec Poker and would love to see lots of you submit some WSOP hands later this year.
There we go. Yeah. And Kim also has a video out there on our blog about how to take notes well in hands that you play. So go check that out and make some notes, put them in the forums, and get better with our group here at Rec Poker. It is a free community. Feel free to join up. All it takes is an email address and a smile, but we do insist on both. Find out more at rec.poker. So it's this time of year again. Kevin Mathers, Kevmath, is in the house. I am so pleased that we get to do this every year, Kevin. This is so cool. Thank you for coming back on the Rec Poker Podcast, bud.
Thanks, Jim. And it's good to talk with the crew. And yeah, this is definitely an exciting time of the year. It's sort of like it's like poker players' Christmas. Is when the schedule a schedule is officially announced, and people they've been waiting for weeks and months to see to plan their summer vacation in Las Vegas.
It's true. It's like we've put the stockings up on the mantle, and now we get to come down the stairs and see what Santa Claus has brought for us all on Christmas morning. That is kind of how it feels. So the schedule is officially dropped. We're not going to get into the online schedule element of it, but we're just going to talk about the live events in Las Vegas, Nevada, starting on May 28th. Before we get into and we're going to break down every event here, so stay tuned. Before we start talking about event by event and date by date, Kevin, what are a couple things that are different this year? What are a couple things that you're looking forward to or excited about? Or what are a couple things that we should just kind of like remind our audience to have in mind every year as we start thinking about this?
Yeah, it's definitely, and people will discuss during the show. There are some new events that for some new tournaments this year that haven't been offered in the past. And, I guess, the one thing to start off with is to always make sure to have your season rewards cards. That's you need that first to actually before you sign up for any tournaments, no matter if it's a bracelet events, it's the satellites, Deepstacks, cash games, etc. It's always good to have your player's card. So you definitely need to get that first. And that's, of course, you may have had from previous years when you've been to Vegas. Any season's property will be happy to help you out with that. Of course, it's always good to make sure you have your money together. And this is, as in past years, there will be online registration that should open up probably late March, early April, when that will be made official. When you can use wire transfer, your credit card, debit card, online banking. There's all sorts of methods for people to do. Because one thing that poker players don't really like, but they sort of do it a lot, is they stand in line a lot. And especially remember last year during the WSOP, certain events where there were definitely some very, very long lines. People who didn't went ahead and got stuck waiting to get their seat at the table.
Yeah, and there's all these different ways you can getting your money together for this is a big subject. We're going to have Kevin back on the show in April as the events get a little closer and talk more about the logistics of using the kiosks, wiring money to the cage, carrying cash around, getting a safety deposit box, registering online. I know there are a lot of different ways to do it. And it's especially if you're an international player like myself, getting money into the States and then, securely getting it to the cage and registering smoothly with good security. That's all stuff that we want to be thinking about. So that's definitely, it's not just avoiding lines, of course. There's a big logistical issue for people getting down there. And Kevin, I heard that they're expecting more players than ever before. Again, there's talk about maybe adding some tables or something like that. What's the general consensus down there? Since you're the industry insider that we're having on the show now, what are you hearing on the buzz?
Yeah, so I've been hearing, I think they always expect numbers to be up year over year, and I think and a lot of people don't really like playing 10-handed, which like at some events it's kind of unavoidable. I have heard, and I've heard there's going to be about 700 plus, over 700 tables that will be available this year at the World Series of Poker spread across the Horseshoe in Paris. I believe they're going to open up another space to help satisfy those long lines that always happen.
That's great, and of course, it's not only. No, go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say, people want to be playing poker, not standing in line.
Yeah.
And the more tables, the better.
Yep, 100%. And of course, for every table, you need a dealer. So that means more dealers than ever. I know the WSOP does a great job putting people through their training program and calling in dealers from around the world, certainly around the country, to come and play. That being said, you often get a lot of first-time dealers here, and it's understandable why. But I'll just encourage our listeners. They're doing their best, folks. Even if you get a first-time dealer who's not exactly at the top of their game, try to remain kind and generous with your words and behavior. They're all just out there doing their best. A lot of them are going to be working for the first time, and it's just part of how we master the logistics of a fantastic, huge event like this. Kim, did you have something?
Yeah, I was at the WSOP in Bahamas.
Yeah.
In December. And I was wondering if they're going to be bringing in the iPads and the all of that to this one that they tried out there.
That's a very good question. I've heard that they're not going to have the WSOP Plus app available in Vegas, but I think there's definitely some elements that they could use, like you mentioned. It would be nice to have the sort of track chip counts and have the tournament clock on your app. Those sort of things would definitely, and sort of like see players that have been eliminated. That would be, I think that would be great if they could have that. But the other services like using Luxon Pay or Bitcoin or ways to register for tournaments, that's basically because of banking laws and in the U.S. and also various regulations in Nevada. That part's not going to be available. So I have a feeling that the app will not be available at all. So you're going to need to have your Bravo Poker Live app on your phone to register for tournaments and also for the tournament clocks.
I know there was a lot of issues using the Bravo Poker Live app last year, that a lot of us had to go onto a website and use it through our website instead of using it on the app, that it wasn't working properly. So hopefully that's all. Those kinks are ironed out.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I know there was, they've had issues from time to time with the kiosks as well. And, basically running out of paper or, the machines were down. And, when you tout the convenience of these kiosks, you sort of expect them to be up throughout the series and not have these extensive down periods, which was definitely frustrating for everyone involved.
Right on. Any other sort of meta questions for Kevin before we jump into the schedule itself? Doesn't look like it. Kevin, is there anything else you want to share with our group before we dive in?
No, I think we're ready to start with the first event.
Okay, amazing. Well, I'm just going to share my screen here, and I'll just remind our YouTube or our audience at home, if you want to follow along on audio, you're welcome to, but you'll be able to watch. I'm going to share my screen as we go through the actual schedule itself. And so if you're watching on YouTube, then you can see in real time as we're going along here. So looks like guys, just jump in anytime here if you've got something that you want to share about the schedule. I'm just going to kind of run through it, and we'll kind of see what's interesting. And for our audience, I'm going to spend a little more time talking about the events that are 1,500 or cheaper, because I know that's kind of in the wheelhouse for our recreational players. And that's what I'll be focusing on as we get through here. So All the Magic starts on May 28th, Tuesday, May 28th. That's when registration opens and live action and satellites begin. So that's the first day. If you might want to get down there, or maybe get down there on the 27th and get a little jet lag out of your system if you want to get started. There's a $5,000 Champions Reunion No Limit Holdem freeze out. That's a 3-day event on the 28th. That's event number 1. On the 28th is also event number 2, the Casino Employees event. That's a $500 entry, and that's a lot of fun. I haven't had a chance to play in that, but if I hear from friends and associates that that's a great event and a good value event as well.
Yeah, and usually the Casino Employees event is the first event on the schedule, and this year they've decided to use the Champions Reunion. And one important note for that event, the first event, is if you eliminate one of the previous main event winners, you get the 2024. That may encourage some people who are sort of like on the fence of not playing for, not showing up for early events. $5,000, basically double your money without even making the money would be a definite.
I love that. Yeah, and Kevin, your audio was just cutting in and out there a little bit, but I'll just clarify for our listeners that in the Champions Reunion freeze out, that's an 8-handed event on the 28th with a $5,000 entry. If you knock out a previous main event champion, you receive an entry into the 2024 main event. So as Kevin says, a $10,000 value, which is sort of like a side bounty aside from the actual typical pay structure for that event. So that's very cool. That's a great way to get people out there early. Joseph?
Yeah, just if you knock out, 2 previous main event winners, do you get an entry to the 25 as well?
Oh yeah, what happens, Kevin, if
you can't rebuy the main?
That's a good question. I don't know if you're gonna. That's a good question. That I'm sure. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any. I don't think I've seen any structure sheets yet. That may be probably into March, and we'll have a definite answer to that.
Good question.
The series starts.
All right, so we'll bring that one back to Kevin when we have him back in April. I love that. On Wednesday, May 29th, there's 2 more events. There's the WSOP Kickoff No Limit Holdem Freeze Out. That's a 2-day event with a $500 entry. So that's a very accessible way to get started in your bracelet hunt. And then there is also the Omaha High-Low 8 or Better event that day for $1,500. That'll be the first mixed game event for some of our mixed game fans out there.
Yes, and the kickoff that's going to be that's also a new event for 2024. It's sort of like a way for people to ease in. If they don't want to spend $5,000, a lot of people like to play the lower buying events, of course, and $500 is a pretty good price point for a lot of the people listening in, and other people who like to play recreational.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so glad that they've put a bunch of these sub 1,000 entry events. I think that's great for the recreational poker world. A lot of people can fire at those. So then on Thursday, May 30th, there's the Mystery Millions event. So this is a bounty event. It's a $1,000 buy-in, 1 re-entry per flight. And this is flight A. And payouts begin on day 1, it says, and the bounties begin on day 2 with a top bounty of $1 million guaranteed. So that sounds pretty cool.
Yes. Top bounty is guaranteed $1 million. At first place, it's also guaranteed at $1 million. That was the case last year as well.
Oh yeah,
and it should be the standard 15%. Will finish in the money each flight. Of course, they'll probably play down to about 5%. And those people who bag will everyone that bags will be a bounty, and one of them will have the $1 million bounty on their head. There'll be some, I would expect several, some 250,000, 100,000, 50,000, 25,000, 10,000, all the way down to $1,000 is the minimum bounty on a player.
That's amazing. And so this is day 1A, or flight A, I should say, on May 30th. There's flight B on the 31st, flight C on June 1st, and flight D on June 2nd, Sunday, before it goes into day 2. So lots of ways to get your $1,000 in there for the Mystery Millions bounty. Mystery bounty, I guess is just what we're calling these, would be the easiest way.
Yeah, awesome. Mystery Millions, it's a mystery bounty. I mean, it sort of works the same way.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Also on May 30th, on Thursday, there's the Heads Up No Limit Holdem Championship for $25,000. That one's limited to 64 players. I don't think that'll be a problem for many of our recreational poker players. I don't think they're putting up 25,000 to play in a Heads Up ladder tournament. But still pretty cool to see. I wonder how many we'll get for that.
Right. And also, and I guess just quick story, my first time even walking into a WSOP thing, 2 years ago when we moved here, they were doing this 25K event, and there's Alex Foxen, Phil Ivey, all of the heavy hitters. So it was just kind of an awe moment of just standing there watching them. So if you are a new player or, haven't seen these guys, just go walk around, especially during this event. You'll see all of them there.
Great advice. Yeah. And some of these high rollers, if you're not going to play them, you can, the people that you want to go see are playing them. So it's a fun opportunity to just go and rub elbows and see what's going on. The last event on Thursday, May 30th, is the Dealer's Choice Championship, six-handed. That's a $1,500, again, Dealer's Choice game. So our mixed games fans will be in there for a bunch of that, and that looks really fun. I'm just getting the page I want to be on correct here. Then on Friday, May 31st, we've got Flight B of the Mystery Millions. We've got event number 8, which is the Pot Limit Omaha 8-handed event. That's a $5,000 buy-in. There is the 8-handed Limit Holdem 3-day event. That's $1,500 entry on Friday, May 31st. Then rolling into the weekend on Saturday, June 1st, Mystery Millions Flight C. Then there is the Omaha High-Low 8 or Better Championship. That's 8-handed. Again, that's a $10,000 entry. On Sunday, June 2nd, Mystery Millions Flight D. And then our Badoogie event number 11, is a $1,500 Badoogie event. That is a 3-day event as well. So lots of mixed games represented in the first week, which is awesome. I know we're trying to get more and more people involved in mixed games. It's the future of the game, and a really, really fun way to play poker. On June 3rd, Monday, we've got the 6-handed No Limit event. That's a $1,500 entry, 3-day event. And it's also the Dealer's Choice Championship 6-handed. Is this a different event? This is event number 13. This is the $10,000 Dealer's Choice. The previous week is $1,500. So this is a big ticket event for our mixed game players to come in and splash around $60,000 starting chips. And looks like that one will be a lot of fun as well.
And yes, and you'll notice as we go through the schedule, you'll see for most of the mixed game events, you'll see a $1,500 version, and then a few days later there'll be a $10,000 version. So it's sort of like, people who like to play those particular events. It's sort of like, you have the people that play on the lower end. Maybe if they do well, they want to take a shot and play the 10K event.
I love that. Yeah, and you see that here with the Omaha High-Low 8 or Better. There's a 1,500 event on May 29th, and then there's a 10,000 event on June 1st. So I like the way that they're staging those so that you can get kind of like the low and the high entry event for similar structures and games. That's awesome. On June 4th, Tuesday, is the first Super Turbo Bounty No Limit Holdem Freeze Out event. That's a $1,000 entry. This is event number 14. This is a one-day event, and every player is a $300 bounty. So it's about a 30% bounty. And these are fun tournaments. I mean, they're super turbos. They go really fast. You can't be afraid to get your chips in the middle. But the bounty is a nice way to kind of pick up some chips pick up some dough without making the money necessarily. And it's a freeze out. So it really is going to go fast, and it's a good chance to go see if you can sneak in a ring hunt, for $1,000, get into a super turbo bounty event. Those are a lot of fun. Tuesday, June 1st. It
also helps you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if you knock out a couple. So that's fun as well.
If you knock out a couple people, what was that, Kevin?
No, I mean you sort of make back your buy-in. So
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I love bounty events. I like the, I think it encourages the kind of play that I enjoy as well. So I like those bounty events. You might see me down there for at least one of those. On Tuesday, June 4th, event number 15, Pot Limit Omaha, high-low 8 or better. That's a $1,500 event. It's also the event number 16 on June 4th is the 8-handed No Limit Holdem event for $5,000. That's going to be a fun one if it's out of the price range for a few of our listeners. I love this one here on June 5th. I've played this one before. Event number 17, the No Limit Holdem Deepstack. So this is a 2-day event. The buy-in's only $800, and you start with $40,000 chips with one re-entry. And that's a nice format. You got some chips to play around with there. Even with the 30-minute levels, you're going to feel like you've got some room to play deep for a while, which is great. Also on Wednesday, June 5th, event number 18. This is the Pot Limit Omaha 8-handed event, $1,500 entry. And event number 19 is also on June 5th. That's the Limit Holdem Championship. That's that $10,000 event like we were talking about earlier. There was a cheaper Limit Holdem Championship the week before. This one's for $10,000. Going into June 6th on Thursday, event number 20 is the Gladiators of Poker, No Limit Holdem. This one has a $3 million guaranteed prize pool, and entry is only $300. You might remember this from previous years, the Gladiator event. There's 2 re-entries per flight, and people tend to come ready to fire if memory serves. Joseph, did you have something there?
Yeah, just they ran that last year. The year prior, they did the housewarming because it was the first year there at Paris Horseshoe or Bally's at the time. So yeah, glad to see that they're bringing that Gladiator back because 300 is definitely a good price point. But like you said, people are ready to fire because they can re-entry. So just,
yes,
keep that in mind.
Yeah, Kevin, did you have something there?
I mean, like Joseph was saying, it's it is the lowest buy-in live race event offered on the schedule, and I mean, if you can get on one bullet, I'd be very impressed. But it's definitely one of the events that you sort of expect to have multiple bullets, and as you'll see, there's going to be 4 flights for this event, and like the mystery, that's on day 1. Again, if you get to below 15% of the field, and then if you bag chips, then you'll have a decent payday, and you'll have a chance to for an even bigger one later on. I mean, I think it was well over 20,000 entries last year, and I expect more of the same for 2024.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of the epitome of large field MTT play. Low buy-in, huge field. Huge prize pool compared to it, but very difficult to advance with so many runners in it. But for $300, that's a good gamble. It's a good way to let's see if I can win a bracelet for $300. And even if you have to rebuy, $600 isn't going to break the bank. I think if you're being smart about it. And as Kevin says, there are 4 flights to this, so you could play at the start of registration on day 1, on day 1A. And if you bust, you could decide to rebuy right there, or you could come back for day 1B or C or D and start at the beginning again. Because I think with let me just look at this, 30,000 chips and 30 or 40-minute levels. You'll still have some playability there. It's not going to be like the Hyper Turbo we were talking about earlier, but it will go. Those blinds will go. So that's the Gladiator. Also on Thursday, June 6th, we've got the High Roller 6-handed No Limit event. That's $25,000 to enter. We've got event number 22, the Limit Deuce to 7 Low Ball Triple Draw. That's also 6-handed. That's a $1,500 event on Thursday, June 6th. Another mixed game for our mixed game fans. Moving into Friday, June 7th, there's the Gladiators Flight B. There's the Shootout No Limit Holdem event. This is event number 23A. There will be a few different flights for this one. It's a $1,500 entry. And the Shootout format just means that you play your table down to one winner. And then if you win your table, you move on to the next round where you're matched up against everyone else who also whittled their table down to one. So you don't consolidate tables until it's a shootout. Only one person can advance from each table, which is kind of an interesting way of doing that, a cool new format. And that one's $1,500 and 0 re-entries for that one. So there are multiple day ones, but you can still only play on any one. Is that right, Kevin? It says 3 levels or sell out for late reg. What does that mean when we talk about late registration?
So in regarding the shootout, one other thing to know is there is going to be 2 flights for the shootout. So if you play flight A and get eliminated, you could play flight B, which is later on Friday. So, and regarding the 3 levels or sell, so usually they set up 1,000 seats. So it's 110 handed tables. So registration will go either through the first break, which is 2 hours of play, or if 1,000 seats have sold out.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense because they have to have a fixed number.
First.
Yeah, that makes sense because it is shootout per table. Okay. And yes, it sounds like you can there's no re-entry per day, but if you bust flight 1, you can play flight B.
I just think something you said was a little confusing there, Jim. You said that you win your table, you go on and consolidate with the rest, but you just go to another shootout table.
Right. Yeah, it's basically... Yes. Yeah, take it.
So basically, if you figure there's 1,000 players, there's 100 tables. There's 100 tables. Each table winner will advance to day 2, and all 100 players will be in the money, and there'll be another 10-handed shootout table at that point, and then all those 10 winners will come back for day 3, and they'll play to a winner.
That's very cool. So you're going to play against 9 other players, and then you're going to get to a new table. You're going to play against 9 different players, and if you win that, you're at the final table.
Right. We could just call it the sit and go championship.
Right.
That's it.
Just once. I mean, let's say we are going to expect 2,000 total players. So day 3 should be 20. So it should be 20 players, and they'll probably just play a standard tournament down to a winner. But
cool.
The concept is usually it's 1,000 to 100 to 10 to 1. But
that's very cool.
They're just doing it slightly. There'll be more players for the final day.
I love it. I think that's a great. That's a cool format. That's awesome. All right. So where were we here? That's on Friday, June 7th. They also have the $10,000 event number 24, Pot Limit Omaha, high-low 8 or better. That's the big boy of that of the mixed game $10,000 entry there. On Friday, June 7th, there is it's the second. Oh, okay. Right. I'm sorry. So it's the second flight of the shootout is that same day. So there's the one at noon, and then the other one is at 7 p.m. So you get to find out pretty quickly if you're going to make it into that one. That's cool. On Saturday, June 8th, it is the Gladiators Flight C. There's also a $3,000 6-handed limit hold'em event. That's event number 25. On Sunday, June 9th, it's event 20D, the Gladiators Flight D. And then on event 26, the High Roller No Limit Hold'em 8-handed, that is $25,000. And another one to go and see who's playing in that one and go catch some fun celebrities because I don't think many of our audience is going to be ponying up 25 grand. But if you are, email me, jim@rec.poker. Let's talk some staking opportunities. All right, Sunday, June 9th, the Big O. So 5-card PLO high-low 8 or better event. That's $1,500 starting on, that's event number 27, starting at 2 p.m. It's cool. We're seeing some of these different mixed game varieties coming out in the schedule this year, which is great. I know we're trying to get more mixed games going. So Big O is a nice addition. Was there a Big O? Was Big O played last year, Kevin? Do you remember?
Yes, there was I believe it was a 1,500 Big O last year.
Awesome. All right. Monday, June 10th, event number 28 is a freeze out No Limit Holdem for $1,500. This one feels like another good recreational friendly event. The freeze outs are good because the pros don't get to just fire away and guarantee themselves some chips going into it. And $1,500 is about as much as I think a lot of our recreational players feel comfortable putting down. Personally, and I'll let the group speak for themselves, but personally, $1,500 is about my limit. And it's a little irresponsible of me, to be honest with you. I probably should be playing in more of like the $600 to $1,000 brackets, but I can make $1,500 work for the World Series of Poker. So that's kind of my threshold. And I do like the freeze outs because I've got as good a chance as anyone who's actually good at poker of making it through. So that's the way I like to think about that. Also on Monday the 10th, event number 29. This is the Limit Deuce to 7 Lowball Triple Draw Championship for $10,000. Moving into June 11th on Tuesday, event number 30. This is the Mixed No Limit Holdem. So it's Pot Limit Omaha Deepstack. This is another $600 entry tournament. So a fun way to dip a toe into some mixed events. And is this half the time it's No Limit Holdem, half the time it's Pot Limit Omaha, Kevin? Is that how these ones work?
It's usually an orbit of each. It's so basically you play eight hands of No Limit, 8 hands of PLO, and repeat. Okay,
awesome. That sounds like a fun format. Also on Tuesday, June 11th, event number 31, 6-handed No Limit Holdem. That's a $3,000 entry with 40,000 starting stack. Also on Tuesday, June 11th, the 7-card stud event number 32. This one's only $1,500 with a $25,000 starting stack. Another great mixed game addition to the group. On Wednesday, June 12th, Pot Limit Omaha Deepstack. This is a $30,000 starting stack tournament. And again, the entry is only $600. So there are 2 re-entries available. But for $600 to get in there and compete for a bracelet, Pot Limit Omaha feels like a good friendly game for some No Limit Holdem players to experiment with. This one could be a lot of fun. And I like starting deep where you can kind of splash around a bit. Also on, and of course, guys, just jump in anytime if you've got anything you want to share about some of these events. I'll just kind of keep rolling through unless I hear from you. Joseph?
That PLO is going to be brutal. I mean, just from, knowing the temperature of PLO here, especially at the Aria. I'm sure Ingram will be in that one.
Oh, Hundo
P. You'll see Joey in that one.
Yeah, that one's going to be busy, I think. $600 bracelet PLO. Put those 3 together. That's a busy event.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
All right, going on from that. Also on June 12th, event number 34. This is another freeze out No Limit Holdem event. $2,500 entry, 35,000 starting stacks. No re-entry, as I say, for a freeze out, which is a great format. Also on June 12th, event number 35, this is the first horse tournament that we're seeing. This is a $1,500 entry where they'll be playing the beautiful mixed game of horse, which is a variety of different mixed games. Come check that one out. On Thursday, June 13th, we are just cruising through the schedule, gang. This is awesome. 8-handed No Limit Holdem Deepstack. This is an $800 entry, event number 36 for 8-handed No Limit Holdem Deepstack. This is a 2-day event. There is 1 re-entry available. So that's also a pretty good event structure for recreational players. $800 to buy in, $40,000 starting stack. and No Limit Holdem is basically one re-entry is it may be the best way to do it, where it's not a freeze out, but it's not unlimited re-entries either. So it does kind of level the playing field a bit, which I like. Also on Thursday, June 13th, event number 37, the Big O Championship. So this is the $10,000 version of that one we were just talking about earlier. And then on June 14th, regular players will be very familiar with event 38A. They call it the Monster Stack. No Limit Holdem. This is Flight A. This is a $1,500 entry with 50,000 starting chips. And the re-entry rules for this one are if you bust A, you can play B, which is actually, I really like the way this runs. And if you're a recreational player and you only have $1,500, you can always just play Flight A and have the option to buy into to B if you bust, or you can kind of just decide to skip day one or skip Flight A and just play Flight B, so you know that that's the max you're going to have to put out there is that $1,500 entry. Kevin, this is a perennial favorite. You're going to get a lot of tweets about this one if memory serves.
Yes, that is very true. And people who are looking closely will notice that there's actually a Flight C this time for the Monster Stack. So in previous years, people would always add, the joke was always, was there re-entry in the Monster Stack? And I always tell them no. Then a couple of years ago, they decided to change that. And like if you played A and busted, then you could play B. Now this year, you can enter A, bust, and play Flight B, bust, and then now you can play Flight C. So you have a chance of free entries in the Monster Stack that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that weekend.
Thank you for clarifying. I do see that Flight C sneaking in down there. So you're telling me if I want to, I can drop up to $4,500 playing in the Monster Stack. I'm not going to be restricted to just some $1,500.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And we will see the third flight pop again in a weekend event relatively shortly. So
cool.
But
nice. I like it.
We'll get to that soon enough.
Yeah, hey, more flights. I mean, I like more flights. As long as, like I say, it's the unlimited reentry that I think is kind of puts a thumb on the scales between recreational and professional poker players. But I don't mind having one reentry or multiple flights. I think that's actually a nice way to do it. The Monster Stack, there we go. So that starts on Friday, June 14th. Also on Friday, June 14th, event number 39. The $50,000 high roller No Limit Holdem 8-handed event. So good luck, gentlemen and ladies. I think we'll just skip on past that one. Also on Friday, June 14th, event number 40. This is the $1,500 Raz event. So another great mixed game. People will be having some fun in that one. 0 re-entries for that one as well. Saturday, June 15th, there's the Monster Stack Flight B. And then there's a $1,500 mixed No Limit Holdem pot limit Omaha double board bomb pot tournament. Now, Kevin, are you telling me that is every hand of this tournament dealt out with bomb pots, with double board bomb pots?
At least the pot limit Omaha part. I'm not sure about, to be honest, I'm not 100% certain. No Limit will also be double board bomb pot, but that would definitely make it interesting if that's the case.
It really sounds interesting. So the way they've written it up here, and again, folks, this is event number 41 on Saturday, June 15th. Mixed No Limit Holdem, pot limit Omaha double board bomb pot. It does make it look as though it's just the pot limit Omaha hands that will be double board bomb pots. But what a cool format. Again, orbiting, alternating orbit by orbit between these two games. That is an action game. For $1,500 entry, and there are 2 re-entries in this one. So people are going to be splashing chips around quite a bit. That's not for the faint of heart, I don't think.
No, I agree. Definitely, and I think they definitely need 2 re-entries for this. And the double board bomb pots are definitely popular in various cash games around the U.S. So see it in the tournament format. It this is certainly it's certainly going to be fun to watch.
Gamble. That's like a very interesting format. I kind of want to see. I hope they televise that one. That's going to be like the number of heartbreaks per hour on that one are going to be through the roof. That's just an action game. I would never want to play in that, but I kind of want to see it.
Would that be similar to like a big ante game? Like, so everybody has to put in something for a bomb
Yes.
pot?
Yes, everyone puts in, I don't know how many big blinds blind, but I think everyone will contribute to the
So it's
bomb
almost
pot.
like a big ante game where everybody antes big.
Yeah,
and then-
like
yeah.
ante up, like the ante up format.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's two boards. There'll be. I'm pretty sure they deal five cards for both, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and no pre-flop action. So it's really interesting. So you're going in, everyone antes essentially, instead of playing blinds, everyone antes something like 4 big blinds or something like that, whatever the number is. And then they just deal out 2 flops. And that's when the betting starts. And so people get post flop with literally 100% of the range they've been dealt with because there is no pre-flop action. So hand ranging is very difficult because they could have any 2 cards, literally any 2 cards. And so
any 4 cards.
Any 4 cards. Oh my God. Yeah. And when you think about all the different varieties of ways you can make hands in Pot Limit Omaha, it's like, boy, I'm kind of curious I want to get some strategic tips on how to play this tournament. Maybe we'll have to ask some of our pros coming on the show over the next little while. What strategies to involve a tournament where literally half the hands you're playing are Pot Limit Omaha double board bomb pots?
Yeah, I bet Nathan would know. We have him on
Monday,
right?
We're having Nathan on the show on Monday. Yes, well, let's talk
and they're hands that you can't fold pre-flop.
Right. Yes. So very cool. Very cool. That's going to be a fun format. I'm looking forward to that, June 15th. There's also on June 15th, event number 42. That's the 7-card stud championship for $10,000. On Sunday, June 16th, Monster Stack Flight C. There's also the event number 43. This is a mixed event. Pot Limit Omaha High Low 8 or better, and Omaha High Low 8 or better, and Big O. So this is a 7-handed tournament where they'll be alternating between Pot Limit Omaha High Low 8 or better, Omaha High Low 8 or better, and Big O. That's a $1,500 entry, and it's a 3-day event. Moving on to Monday, June 17th, there's a $2,000 No Limit Holdem event, which is 1 rebuy. And again, $2,000, that's a little higher than I like to spend. But if people are down there in sort of mid-June, this does, it is a nice No Limit Holdem. Start with 30,000 chips. Levels are 40 minutes and then 60 minutes. Late registration for the first 12 levels. Also on Monday, June 17th, event number 45. This is the $10,000 horse championship. So this is the big boy from the horse one we were talking about just before. On Tuesday, June 18th, the seniors event. This is the $1,000 No Limit Holdem championship. You've got to be 50 years of age or older, and this is Flight A. I can't believe they let 50-year-olds play in the seniors event, but they do. I've still got a few years to go. I need a little more salt in the pepper here, but I'm hot on your tail, everybody else, and I can't wait to jump in one of these years soon. Everyone tells me the seniors event is like the most fun they have when they're down there for WSOP. I don't get it personally. A bunch of old fogies falling asleep before their 4:00 dinner. I don't see it, but hey, everyone seems to be having a great time. I can't wait to come join the fun myself. Kevin, feels like this is just one of the events that people enjoy the most. Do you hear that as well, anecdotally?
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of these 50 plus, they don't like playing with the quote unquote kids. So they like to play. They like to play with people of around their own age.
Yes.
This is definitely one of the more popular events on the WSOP schedule. I could see, we're seeing 6,000-7,000 plus seniors going at it. It's definitely an interesting look when compared to other tournaments that you'll see on the weekends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this one's Flight A. there is a flight B on Wednesday, June 19th as well. And I'm joking, of course. I think the seniors events are super fun. And I think some of, outside of these young guns that are GTO wizards coming out of it, I think, so many of the great poker players of our generation are now 50 plus and playing in these. And so I don't think it's quite the soft seat that it used to be coming in to play the seniors event. A lot of our, the poker godfathers and godmothers are playing in these events right now. So one day I'll get there. A few years from now, I can't wait. On Tuesday, June 18th, event number 47. This is the $100,000 entry high roller no limit hold'em. I think we can skip past that one. Also on June 18th, this is on Tuesday, event number 48. This is a $1,000 pot limit Omaha 8-handed event with 2 re-entries. Again, $1,000 for the chance to go play for a ring, pot limit Omaha. That seems like a fun one. On Wednesday, June 19th, there's Flight B for the seniors. And then there's also event number 49, the $3,000 No Limit Holdem Freeze Out. Starts with 40,000 chips. And again, a little pricey for my blood, but I do love those Freeze Out No Limit Holdem championships. So that one will be fun. The last one on June 19th is event number 50. This is the $10,000 Raz Championship. Starting on June 20th, my birthday, by the way. It's very convenient of you guys, Kevin, to hold the World Series of Poker during my birthday every year. It makes me feel like a real VIP. I get to come down and be feted and get a chance to win a bracelet on my birthday. That's pretty cool. So thank you for making that happen. The first event, oh man, this one's got my name written all over it too. This is the Super Turbo Bounty No Limit Hold'em Freeze Out. This is a $1,500 event. The previous Super Turbo Bounty was a $1,000 event where the bounty was $300. This is a $1,500 event where the bounty is $500. This is another one-day event. It's a Super Turbo. It's going to go fast. The levels are 20 minutes, and you only start with 25,000 chips. But event 51, Super Turbo Bounty No Limit Freeze Out, that is a fun one to get in there for $1,500 in battle. But do not enter if you're worried about, like, if you're at all afraid about getting your chips in, do not enter this tournament. Because you cannot afford to just sit there and wait for hands. You got to dance, baby. So if you're ready to dance, then fire away.
And one other thing, I also like this particular event because this is the one event that I have my WSOP cash in.
Yeah.
So I like this event. This will probably be an event I'll personally play this year.
Yeah. There you go. And very kind of you again to have it on my birthday. I appreciate that. I've always wanted to win a bracelet on my birthday. So sounds like we're in for some luck there. Also on the fantastic day of June 20th is event number 52. This is a $5,000 entry, 6-handed No Limit Hold'em event. I think the last event on the 20th is event number 53. This is a $3,000 mixed game, the 9-game mix. This will be played 7-handed. With just a whole bunch of mixed games and one re-entry available. All right, it's Friday, June 21st. It's time for event 54, the Millionaire Maker. Another old favorite. This is a $1,500 entry with one re-entry. $1,500 buy-in with one re-entry per flight. And there are, let me see, A, B, C. This is another 3-flight event. Is that right, Kevin?
Yes. This year they've added the 3rd flight for the Millionaire Maker. So there should be no problem getting the first place prize guaranteed at $1 million. It should be well over that.
That's amazing. Yeah. So it's a $1 million guaranteed for first place. It's a 5-day event. Regular listeners and players will know this is one of those massive events that people get excited for, those June weekend events that people fly down to Vegas just to play. And that's the Millionaire Maker for $1,500. The starting chips are 25,000 and 1-hour levels. Also on Friday, June 21st, event 55. If you have $250,000 and you'd like to compete for a bracelet, why not try the Super High Roller No Limit Hold'em 3-day event? All it costs to enter is $250,000. And you even get one re-entry available. If things don't go your way in the first couple orbits, you can buy in again for another $250,000. So go search around in the couch cushions, folks. You never know if this is your year. Also on Friday, June 21st. Yeah, Joseph.
Flashing around, you get 1.5 million in starting chips.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, 1.5 million
all day, Jim.
That's true.
That's all you.
I could fold forever if I start with $1.5 million starting chips. Great catch, Joseph. You're not going to see that kind of starting stack for a lot of these tournaments. That's amazing. Also on Friday, June 21st, is event number 56. This is a $2,500 entry for the mixed triple draw lowball limit. So deuce to 7, ace to 5, and Badoogie. That's going to be another fun one in our mixed game series for $2,500 entry. On Saturday, June 22nd, there's Flight B for the Millionaire. There's a $10,000 Super Turbo Bounty No Limit Holdem. So that one is a 3,000 bounty on every player. It's a one-day event, and it's the $10,000 entry. It's the big daddy of those Super Turbo bounty events, because we saw a 1,000 and a 1,500 earlier. This is the 10,000. Sunday, June 23rd, Flight C of the Millionaire Maker. There's also event number 58, the $50,000 entry Poker Players Championship. This is a 7-handed 5-day event with a series of mixed games. Again, I don't think many of our players will be playing in it, but if you do, you start with $300,000 in your chip stack and 100-minute levels. So that's going to be a fun tournament to watch and see some of the cream rise to the top there. On Monday, June 24th, event 59. If you enjoyed the seniors event, you're going to love the super seniors event. This is a $1,000 entry to the No Limit Holdem super seniors event, 20,000 starting chips, 1 re-entry, and 60-minute levels. This is a 4-day event, but only 1 starting day, and that day is Monday, June 24th. And you have to be 60 years of age or older to play in this one. 50 for the seniors, 60 for the super seniors. Also on Monday, June 24th, event number 60. This is a $3,000 No Limit Holdem event. It's a 4-day event. You start with 40,000 chips, and you get 1 re-entry. We have another mixed game on Monday, June 24th. This is the Omaha High-Low 8 or better and the 7-card stud High-Low 8 or better. It's 8-handed. It costs $2,500 to enter. There is 1 rebuy, and that's a 3-day event. That's event number 61. Moving on to Tuesday, June 25th, event 62 is the PokerNews Deepstack Championship No Limit Holdem. This is another fantastic value event, and I love that PokerNews is getting their name in here as well. So this is 10 a.m. on June 25th, $600 buy-in, 1 re-entry. You start with 30,000 chips, and the levels are 40 minutes and then 60 minutes. So this is a great opportunity to come compete for a ring, $600. You do have a chance for 1 rebuy. And Kevin, what is it about this event? Does the winner get an internship at PokerNews or something, or how does that work?
Yes, there is. There with by PokerNews, so they're going to be doing some leaderboards, daily Deepstack tournaments, and I believe it's the top 10 players each daily Deepstacks, which will be from the 1 p.m. 250 p.m. 400 and 8 p.m. $200 tournaments. Players in those events will be by cash, and if I recall correctly, it's going to be the top 10 each week will get an.
Oh, all right. Kevin, you were cutting in and out there a little bit, but it sounds like what you're saying is that the dailies, the WSOP dailies, are going to be having a leaderboard, and every week the top 10 performers are going to win an entry into the $600 bracelet event. Is that right?
That is.
How cool. I love that. Good for them. Good for them. And good for PokerNews for giving that a go. That's fantastic. The other event on Tuesday, June 25th, is the $1,500 No Limit Deuce to Seven Lowball Draw. That's seven-handed, and there are 2 re-entries allowed into that one. Moving on to Wednesday, June 26th. This is another fantastic-looking tournament. Look at this. $600 entry, No Limit Holdem Deepstack, and there's 1 re-entry. So another one of these very recreational friendly events. You start with 30,000 chips, only 30-minute levels, but you get 1 re-entry. And again, that's event number 64 on Wednesday, June 26th, a $600 No Limit Holdem Deepstack event. That sounds like some great value. Also on Wednesday, June 26th, event number 65. This is the Seniors High Roller No Limit event. This is $5,000 to enter. You get a healthy $50,000 starting stack, and there are no re-entries. So again, 50 plus, I think, for this one, right, Kevin?
Yes, and this is a new event for 2024. We've seen the Win have $10,000 senior high roller events. So it was basically that you would see the WSOP also add another event for the 50 plus crowd.
Awesome. Well, way to go, guys. That's a great way to meet some senior players with their bankroll requirements. I love that. Also that day, event number 66 on June 26th is a $10,000 pot limit Omaha championship. On June 27th, on Thursday, event number 67, regular players will remember the Salute to Warriors event, where the proceeds are donated to the USO and other veterans organizations. You do not have to be a veteran to play in this event. I just want to remind folks, there was some confusion over the last couple of years. This event benefits the USO, but it's open to everyone. This is a $500 No Limit Holdem event. You start with 50,000 chips in 40-minute levels. So this is a pretty deep event with 1 re-entry available. It's a 3-day event. That's event 67, Salute to Warriors. On Thursday, June 27th, event number 68 is a $2,500 entry, the No Limit Holdem, 3-day event. There is 1 re-entry available for this, starting with 35,000 chips and 40 to 60-minute levels. On Thursday, June 27th, there's also event number 69, a $1,500 buy-in, 7-card stud, high-low, 8 or better event, starting with 25,000 chips and 0 re-entries. That's a freeze out. On June 28th, it's another Friday, which means it's time for another amazing Friday tournament or weekend tournament. This one is the Colossus. This will be, again, one of the lowest entry events available to go compete for a bracelet. This is Flight A. This is event number 70A on June 28th. It's a $400 entry. Amazing. 1 re-entry per flight. You start with 40,000 chips and 40-minute levels. So the Colossus, this is another one where you're going to see a lot of people play. There's going to be large fields here, and people are not going to be afraid to fire more than once. This is one where if you can make it on 1 bullet, great, but don't be afraid to fire again, because this field is going to be massive. And Kevin, I'm pretty sure you're going to get some tweets about this one too. That's typically how this goes.
Yeah, definitely one of the bigger. This is an event that if you don't register in advance, you may be stuck in line to get your seat at the table. Yeah, it's definitely, and again, with the $400 buy-in, it's definitely fits pretty much everyone's bankroll, and there's going to be many opportunities to enter or re-enter as needed. And this is also a free opening flights for the Colossus. In the past, I think the original Colossus was 6, but it's been gone from 6 to 2 to 4, and this year it's going to be 3.
Okay, and so for each flight, you can enter, and then you get 1 re-entry opportunity per flight. So you could fire up to 6 times at this, one re-entry per flight.
Correct.
All right, fantastic. Also on June 28th is the Ladies No Limit Holdem Championship. This is it's a $1,000 entry for ladies and a $10,000 entry for everyone else. I guess the way to say that is it's a $10,000 entry. Women have a discounted price of $1,000. This is a one re-entry event, 60-minute levels. Your $1,000 gets you 20,000 starting chips, which is fewer than some of the other tournaments, but the 60-minute levels is nice. That does give you a lot of time in between blind increases. So it's not all about the starting stack. People look at the starting stack numbers and make judgments, but really the level duration and the structure, which blind levels are skipped and which ones aren't, that has as much to do with the duration of the tournament as the actual starting stack. So this is a 4-day event, and I'm sure we'll see a bunch of fantastic folks coming out for that on Friday, June 28th. The other June 28th tournament is event number 72, the No Limit Deuce to 7 Low Ball Draw Championship. That's 7-handed. That's a $10,000 entry. So good luck with that, everybody. On to Saturday, June 29th. It's Flight B for the Colossus. And then there's also a $25,000 entry for the High Roller Pot Limit Omaha. That's event number 73. On Sunday, June 30th, the Colossus Flight C, that is the last day for the Colossus. So it's an opportunity to get your last bullet in for $400. And then also on Sunday, June 30th, is event number 74. This is a $10,000 entry to the 7-card stud high-low 8 or better championship event. Starting on Monday, July 1st, this is one of my favorite events, and not just because it's being held on Canada Day, on July 1st, you can play the tag team event. This is a No Limit Holdem freeze out, 2-person teams, and you and your partner have to sign up together. You have to register together. You both have to be there with your ID. It's $500 each is how you get to $1,000 for the team. And this is going to start with $20,000 starting stack and 1 hour levels. Kevin, I've played this in the past. Such a fun event. The way this one runs is you and your partner can alternate whenever you wish, but one of you each have to play at least one orbit, or you have to pay the blinds at least once. Do you recall exactly what the requirement is for that?
Yeah, it's basically the small and big blind. That's the minimum. Both partners have to play before the close of the registration.
Got it. Okay. So you can both register in advance, even if one of you can't make it for the first several hours of the tournament. As long as you register in advance together, one person can play for the first, several hours, as long as both players have played their blinds before the end of registration. And because this event is alternating players, there are no breaks. You can just take a break whenever you want by taking a break and having your partner sit in for you. So there's no breaks. This is also my favorite event to rail, because we talk about all these other high limit events where the pros that you want to talk to are playing. They're playing, but they're focused at the table, and they're playing for huge sums of money. In the tag team event, most of the people that you want to hang out with, they're playing with a partner. So half the time they're playing, half the time they're just standing there in the aisle like you, railing their buddy or railing other people playing. So it's a great opportunity to come and just talk to poker people, because they're not playing. They're standing there, hanging out, having fun. It's by far the most sort of collegial, fun atmosphere on the rail for any of these tournaments. That's the tag team on Monday, July 1st. So I'd encourage everyone to go check that out. And if you're looking for a partner, go post in our Rec Poker forums, because we'll do a little mix and match function in the forums there, where people that are looking for other serious but fun people to play with find a partner here at Rec Poker and win a bracelet. I mean, it's such a cool format. I love it. Also on July 1st, the Mystery Bounty. This is a $10,000 entry, but that one's going to be a lot of fun. Another Mystery Bounty, which is going to be I really like that format, so that'll be cool. And then the last event on Monday, July 1st, is the Mixed Big Bet event. That's a 6-handed $2,500 entry with 2 re-entries available. Then we are on to July 2nd. This is where the main event satellites will begin. So the main event satellite days are July 2 through 7, and there will be an assortment of different satellites. Kevin, what's the different range or format that these tend to be? I won't hold you to it specifically for this year, but in the past, what kind of different kinds of satellites can people enter?
Well, I mean, there is actually going to be what some would consider a major change in the satellites. People used to, remember when they would play a satellite and basically, let's say it's 100 players in the satellite and they're playing for 10 seats. You basically would play down to your final 10, and that would determine the winners, the winners of the seats. This time they're using what's called people will mostly know as milestone satellites. Where,
yeah.
But the WSP is calling it landmark satellites. So it's basically if you get to a certain number of ships, then you win your seat automatically, and you're done. And they'll basically play down until they award as many seats as players left.
Amazing. And actually, I like that. I was going to say, I like that new format. We actually just recorded a forums edition of the podcast that's going to come out on February 27th in just a couple of weeks, just talking about the difference between the milestone format and the original last longer format for the satellite. So I think this is a good adjustment, and I think this is going to be good for the game. I'm excited to see how this comes along. This is the first year they're doing that, right?
At the WSP, yes, and the satellites price points are the same as previous years. You'll see from 145, which will get you into an $1,100 mega, all the way up to $2,200 megas for $10,000 seats, or $10,000 seats.
Cool.
And the milestone satellites, the landmark satellites will also be used for the various dailies. There'll be daily mega satellites, and also satellites into the bigger buy-in events, which are usually you'll see $580 or $1,100 satellites into the bigger mixed game events or no limit events. Those will be available daily.
Interesting. So even some of these like high roller events, you might be able to satellite yourself into for a more reasonable outlay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. I like that. And as Kevin's saying, there's actually different levels of these that you can enter into. You can start at the lowest possible step or level with, $100 or $150 and play against a bunch of people to get a more expensive satellite ticket. Then maybe you only have to play against 5 or 10 people to win your seat. Or you can just buy directly into that more expensive satellite level and play against fewer players with a more expensive ticket. So they really have a bunch of different ways for lots of different people to satellite into these events, which is a great way to for recreational players like us to have some fun and excitement. Even though, the poker advice out there is you shouldn't really play satellites unless you really should just buy your way into the event from an ROI point of view. But for recreational players like us, we're not forking out $10,000 to play the main event. I think it's perfectly fine to throw your hat in the ring in a satellite and see if you can win your way in as well. On Tuesday, July 2nd, this is where event 78 kicks off. This is the mini main. So this is a $1,000 entry. You start with the same 60,000 chips that the main event will start with, but the levels are shorter. The main event has 2-hour levels. The mini main only has 30-minute levels. And I do wish they would make these 60-minute levels just because it's they call it the mini main. I would love it for them to give you more time per level with the deeper stacks. I think that would be a really powerful adjustment for them to make, so that it mimics the main event structure a little more closely. The 30-minute levels, obviously, I mean, no one's turning their nose up at 30-minute levels, but it's not the same kind of rich experience that some of the longer levels have here. But starting with 60,000 chips, that means you get a couple of those little green babies, those little baby avocados, which you're not going to get in a lot of these other tournaments. So I do like that one. And that is a freeze out, mimicking the main event like that, which is great. Also on July 2nd, there's the High Roller Pot Limit Omaha. That's a $50,000 event with 2 re-entries available on Wednesday. Yeah, if you need it, if you're the kind of guy that wants to. If you need it, it's available. It's available. On July 3rd, Wednesday, event number 80. This is the Independence Day celebration. No Limit Holdem. This is Flight A for $800. The Flight B is the next day, and this is $800. You get 40,000 starting chips, 30-minute levels, and there is 1 re-entry available per flight. So another one of these No Limit Holdem bracelet events for less than $1,000 starting on July 3rd. This seems like a good one for recreational players to circle, and that one could be a lot of fun. Is this a new event as well, the Independence Day one?
Yes, this is. Yes, I was about to chime in there. Yes, this is a new event for 2024. I think it's just sort of like, people coming to town or coming in for the main event. They want to get something. This could be an event they could consider as well. Playing this, getting some practice. If they haven't been there all summer, sort of getting used to the environment around the World Series of Poker.
Yeah,
it's at a nice low price point.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's a great way to do it. And then July 3rd, that is also a time for the main event, Day 1A. $10,000 entry, but you already knew that. 60,000 starting chips and 2-hour levels with no re-entry. This is Day 1A on Wednesday, July 3rd. 1B is on Thursday. 1C is on Friday. And then the granddaddy of them all, Day 1D, will be on Saturday, July 6th. Day 1D tends to be the bigger field because people show up, ready to roll into Day 2. So I see what they're doing in here is on Sunday, July 7th, they'll do Day 2 ABC. So they consolidate the surviving players from the first 3 Day 1s, and then they'll do Day 2D the next day, and they don't actually consolidate the entire field until Day 3, just because the field size for Day 1D tends to be so much larger than the others. Kevin, is this one of those events where they may go 10-handed on Day 1D if they don't have enough tables available for that large field?
That's always a possibility. I mean, hopefully it won't happen, because I know a lot of people get upset. They want to play 1D, but then they also ask me if it's going to be 10-handed. So
right,
it's like it's the great answer in poker is it depends.
Yeah.
If everyone decides to play 1D, even though we have a lot more tables than in the past, it's always a possibility, because it's sort of like depending on dealer, space, available dealers, how many people decide to register. But it's that's sort of what we give players 4 days to take part, and that's
right.
A is definitely, you expect A is going to be the smallest field of the 4, and you would definitely be guaranteed 9-handed play at that for that day of the main event, and probably for B and C as well. But it's just everyone likes to, if there's an event that has multiple flights, the last one's always going to be the biggest.
Yep. And I would just encourage folks, if you're thinking about playing the main this year, Day 1A is on Wednesday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, those are the cheap nights to stay in Vegas anyway. So get down early, give yourself a couple extra nights, get acclimatized, get comfortable. You're not going to play the main event very frequently in your life. So get comfortable, get rested, get ready, and play Day 1A, B, or C, and give yourself that kind of experience where you're not jammed in with all the other people on Day 1D, and enjoy that experience, and just make sure that you get there with plenty of time and that you're ready to go and in your best mindset. Joseph?
Just one thing, if you're not kind of looking at the math, if you will, you can register until through 7 levels. They only play 5 levels on Day 1, so you can actually register Day 2. If you're running later or whatever the case may be, but and you're not going to get blinded out at that point either because of the structure of the 2-hour levels.
That's a great point, Kevin. I think it was last year that they started allowing people to buy into Day 2 directly. Is that right? Or the year
No,
before?
it was no. They've been doing it for a few years. When they added when it went to 7 levels, it's when they had 7 levels of late registration. There's been times where you could actually register before the start of day two. I think that was like the deadline. It used to be 3 levels, then it moved to 5, and now it's 7. The past few years, that's been the case. But I think there's definitely people that sort of don't want to, like people who don't want to play day 1A. If they play 1A, then they're sort of in a bag, and they're there for four more days. So it's sort of
Right.
like, when they got nothing to do. So it's sort of, there's definitely people that like the option of basically max late regging and showing up into day two with about a third of the field eliminated.
Yeah. And Kevin, can you choose which day two to buy into?
Yes, you can. Yeah, when you register, you can specify which flight you would like to play,
Okay.
and that
So that's
that is also that's also the case for any of the multi-flight events. You can pick when you register. You have the option.
and just to clarify, even for the day two, if you're registering into day two, you can choose which flight.
Well, usually the way it's done is they usually say you can usually just register for 2A or 2B. You usually just open up registration for 2A, and then when that's closed, that's when 2B is available.
Interesting. Okay, great. Thank you. That's great clarification. And if you are watching along on YouTube, you'll see that, on Wednesday, July 3rd, there's the Independence Day celebration. There's the main event, day 1A. There's really nothing else happening that week. There are literally Saturday, July 6th is the next independent event. That's the $1,000 entry to event number 82, which is the No Limit Holdem 2-day event. So there's really, let me see here, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the July 4th, 5th, and 6th. If you're not in the main or in the Independence Day celebration, there's not much going on right there. So those would be good days to play cash or to try and satellite into something. But you're right. There is kind of a hole in the schedule there for some of these other events while everyone's focusing on the main. Joseph?
Right. Yeah. Just you hit it right there, Jem. You can obviously do the cash games that are there, but while you're in Vegas, the Wynn usually has their summer series. MGM Grand will have their summer series. So you'll see, 4 or 5 casinos or poker rooms that are going to have different tournaments as well, because again, not everyone's going to be playing every event every day. So
right.
There's definitely plenty to do during that wall.
I believe it.
Yes.
All right, well,
Joseph
please,
does make it. Yeah, there's going to be a ton of poker in Las Vegas during the summer. Like you said, the Wynn, MGM Grand, Aria, Orleans, Golden Nugget. Maybe we may see Resorts World this year drop a schedule in there. But I will put in a plug. With my employer, the Head Mop Global Poker Index. The past couple of years we've had a website called summerinvegas.com, and that basically details all the events that are going on in Las Vegas during the summer. So it's sort of like your one-stop shop to see what, we basically give some, general information about what's going on each day. So, you can sort of plan around, you're planning your schedules around that.
I love it. And Kevin, that's showing the different venues and the different events going on day by day, regardless of whether it's WSOP or otherwise. It's just these are the events that are happening in Las Vegas during that time. Is that right?
Yes. Yep. Summer in Vegas. I definitely do my part to help create, add the schedules as they get announced. With the World Series of Poker schedule being announced, that means we're going to start seeing the other rooms around. The Venetian was one I forgot. They'll start announcing their schedules in March and April.
Right. Okay. And what's the website address again, Kevin, in case people want to go check that out?
www.summerinvegas.com.
All right, cool. So go check that out. And I know other people have spreadsheets and other tools for tracking that kind of information, but it sounds like you can find it all in one place there. All right, so let's just close out the schedule here. mentioned on Saturday, July 6th, event number 82. That's the $1,000 entry to the No Limit Holdem bracelet event. On Sunday, July 7th, this is event day 2 ABC for the main. And then also there's a $1,500 8-game mix championship. That's event number 83 on July 7th. Also on Sunday, July 7th, a $600 No Limit Holdem Ultra Stack. This is a $60,000 starting stack with 30 to 40 minute levels and 2 re-entries per flight. Again, $600 entry, 60,000 starting stack, payouts every flight, and the Ultra Stack, event number 84A. There will be another flight later in that week. On Monday, July 8th, event number 85. This is the $1,000 Flip and Go. What a crazy event this is. So people know this is you start at a table with 9 other players. You play a pineapple style hand. Everyone's all in on the first hand, and only one player will advance to the next stage of the tournament. This is kind of similar to a shootout in that way, except it all happens in one hand. Once you do advance, then you sort of restart on day 2. Everyone's already made the money, and it plays as a conventional tournament from there on in. It is a fun tournament. It's obviously, when you do make day 2, you're playing in a pretty soft field because you're only there with the 10% of the luckiest people who wanted to gamble the heck out of their $1,000 to play the Flip and Go. So it's a weird format because there's no skill involved in the first vetting of the field. So you get a lot of people in there who decided to come to Vegas and flip for $1,000. So that's probably good people to be playing poker against. And B, not even the most skilled players. And I can attest to that because this is my very first WSOP cash was in the Flip and Go several years ago. And Kevin, you were there that day. I remember.
I was. Yes, I was. I was going to bring up if you weren't that was your first cash was in that particular event. And I should note there are people that will be playing, that will be attempting dozens of times.
Yes.
To get to that, to get in the flips, to get to day 2. You fortunately were able to do it in one. There was definitely people a couple of years ago that did 20 plus times and didn't get to day 2. So they were
yes.
No, they were the unfortunate. They were the unlucky ones.
They were. Yeah, I'd done pretty well earlier. I'm not sure what it was exactly. I think it wasn't in a bracelet event, but I'd done a decent cash in something down there, and I'd been doing well in the cash tables. So I decided just to fire $1,000 into it just for fun, and I did get through on the first hand. And then on day 2, when I was redrawn, David Williams was at my table, and I think he had fired something like 23 or 24 bullets to get into it. We did the math, and he had to place 4th in the tournament just to break even on his entries or something crazy like that. But yeah, so you never know who's going to be at that table when you make it through. But it is a fun event, and it is a good. You'd think it's got to be a softer field in the money than it would be for most of these. So that's kind of a cool way of doing it. So that's the Flip and Go on Monday, July 8th. And then on Monday...
I hope they know there's a typo. There was a typo at the end of that says the restart will be on June 9th.
Oh, but I think they probably mean July 9th, don't they, Kim?
I think they probably did.
You know what, Kim? Actually, I just noticed that myself, and that's the first time I saw that. So I feel... I would hope someone else has been proofreading these, so it will actually when they release the official schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we've got something to flag for it. Way to go, Picky Kim.
It'll get fixed in the weeks between now and the start of WSOP. That will be fixed.
Yeah, by the time this gets to a printed version, I think they'll have that all taken care of.
Yes.
Good catch, Kim. Good catch.
Yes, thank you, Kim.
So again, on Monday, July 8th, again, that's day 2D for the main event. So that's the last for everyone who survived day 1D. And then also the Ultra Stack Flight B is also on Monday, July 8th. On Tuesday, July 9th, event number 86. This is the $1,000 mystery bounty pot limit Omaha Flight A. Every player is a bounty, it says here. So, Kevin, does that mean that the bounties start at the beginning of the tournament, or is it, again, you have to sort of wait to day 2 to get into your bounty pool?
No, the way I'm reading that, yeah, I would say everyone's a bounty. I would think what they would do, and I don't think I've seen the structure sheets piece yet. I would assume if players that make day 2, they'll recalibrate the bounty pool. And and then they'll have mystery bounties from that point.
That makes sense. Because it's hard until you know how many runners you have, it's hard to really nail down the distribution of the bounties and how to consolidate them into greater bounty prizes.
Right. I would expect to be like maybe $100 or maybe like $200.
Yeah.
For the day one bounties, and then after that is you'll have larger bounties available.
Okay, perfect. That makes sense. And there are 2 re-entries per flight for that one. This is Flight A. On Tuesday, July 9th, it's also main event day 3. This will be the first time that all the fields are combined into one field. On Tuesday, July 9th, it's also event number 87, the 8-handed No Limit Holdem. This is a $5,000 entry, which honestly I think might be the toughest fields in the series. The toughest fields have to be these like between 3,000 and 5,000, where they're more expensive than the low entry events, but they're not the 10,000 mains that everyone's getting satellited into. These are really the pro fields, I think, are these $3,000 to $5,000 events. I haven't played in any, so this is just conjecture on my point. But with the more expensive events, you get a bunch of people satelliting in, which is something that helps at least soften that field a bit. I'll be curious to see how that one goes. Wednesday, July 10th, there's Flight B for the Pot Limit Omaha Mystery Bounty. It's also day 4 for the main event. And there's also event number 88. This is a $10,000 entry to the 8-game mixed championship. On Thursday, July 11th, there's the Mid-Stakes Championship Flight A. This is No Limit Holdem. It's a $3,000 entry with 40,000 chips and 1 hour duration levels, 1 re-entry per flight. And it looks like there are 2 flights for this Mid-Stakes Championship No Limit Holdem. Is this a new one as well?
Yes. This is a new event for 2024. I think a lot of people will see there's a lot of events that are 1,500 and under and 5,000 and over. The 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 is there's definitely you would expect it to bring more events in that price point, and I think that's why they're doing this mid-stakes championships. Mm-hmm. People, there's a lot of people that they don't really want to play the lower buy-in events, but they don't really want to play the bigger buy. They want something in that 2 to 3K range, and I think that's what they're satisfying that with this championship event.
Yeah, it looks like it. That's kind of that range we were just talking about, where it's you're above the low stakes, but you're below the main stuff. So there you go. That's event number 89A. Also on Thursday, July 11th, there's day 5 of the main event. There's also event number 90. This is a $1,500 6-handed pot limit Omaha event. The last event on Thursday, July 11th, is event number 91, a $3,000 horse tournament. And then on Friday, July 12th, there's Flight B for the Mid-Stakes Championship. There's day 6 for the main event. And the only other event on Friday, July 12th is the $50,000 High Roller No Limit Holdem event, where, again, you start with 300,000 chips. And there is 1 re-entry available in case people are curious. On Saturday, July 13th, event number 93, the Lucky Sevens No Limit Holdem 7-handed Flight A. Payouts every flight. The guaranteed for first place is $777,777. The entry is $777. Unlimited re-entries for this one. You start with 40,000 chips and the blinds go up every 30 to 40 minutes. There's been an event like this, the 888 or the Lucky Sevens for a while. Is this just sort of like the next version of that one, Kevin?
Yeah. It used to be, it was 88 at the beginning, and then a couple of years ago they moved it down. Well, I don't know, they moved it down. They just they rebranded to 777 and used
Yeah.
that price point. But it's definitely it's definitely a popular bet in the later, in that post limit of the WSOP is people have busted the main, and they're kind of using this as a summer saver.
Yeah, I see that. And it is, now we're starting to see a few more events coming around now that the main is down to day 4, day 5. There are more bracelet events coming out. So that's one of them. That is that's flight A. There is a flight B as well for the Lucky Sevens. But flight A is on Saturday, July 13th. That's also day 7 for the main event. And there's also on Saturday, July 13th, a $10,000 6-handed No Limit Holdem championship. On Sunday, July 14th, there's flight B for the Lucky Sevens. There's the main event playing down to 9-handed. And then this is also one of my favorite. I haven't actually played this tournament, but this seems like such a fun format. I'd like to play in this one. Event number 95 on July 14th, the Poker Hall of Fame Bounty No Limit Holdem event. So this is the entry is $1,979 to signify the year 1979 when the Poker Hall of Fame was begun. You start with 30,000 chips, 40-minute levels, and there is unlimited rebuys for the first 9 levels of the tournament. What's fun about this is that every Hall of Famer is Kevin, are they comped an entry into this, or do they have to buy their way in? In either case,
no, they are. The standard is that they are comped one entry into the event, and cool. If you happen to, and this is also they would be announcing this year's inductee into the Poker Hall of Fame.
Yes,
and. So for every Hall of Famer you eliminate, you will receive a bounty in the amount of the year that they were inducted. So last year, Brian Rast was the Poker Hall of Fame inductee, and he had a $2,023 bounty on his head. And then whomever wins this year, it'll be $2,024.
I love it. So you're virtually guaranteed any one person that you take out, any bounty is going to be at least as much as you paid to enter. And then, of course, there's the typical prize pool as well that comes along with this. Super fun format. Lots of all the people in the world of poker that you'd love to be playing with are going to be there for that. And again, it's a $2,000 entry, $1,979 entry. But super fun event and a great atmosphere there as well. Also on Sunday, July 14th, is the $25,000 High Roller Horse event. So another big one for all the glitterati. Now, I see on Monday, July 15th, there's actually a third flight for the Lucky Sevens. That's that 777 one. That's flight C and the final flight on Monday, July 15th. Also on July 15th, the main event, they get the day off after they played down to 9-handed the day before. And the next day will be the final table. So they give them a chance to catch up on some sleep. That's a smart idea. And also on Monday, July 15th, there's a $3,000 6-handed pot limit Omaha event. There's a $1,500 event, number 98, The Closer. This is a No Limit Holdem event. There are 2 flights for this one. You start with 50,000 chips and 30-minute levels with unlimited re-entries. This is a real summer saver, folks. If you're still here on July 15th or 16th, unlimited re-entries in the $1,500 bracelet event, starting nice and deep. That one looks like a lot of fun. On Tuesday, July 16th, is flight B for the closer, and it's the first day of the final table for the main event. And then it all wraps up on the very last day, July 17th, the final rundown of the main event final table. And also event number 99, the Super Turbo No Limit Holdem. Again, it's a $1,000 entry, with one re-entry, and it's just a 1-day event, super turbo, no bounty at all, just play down and win the whole darn thing. That it rounds that out at event number 99. So, Kevin, I know we're going to have a bunch of online events as well that are included in this, but we'll get to that maybe in a different podcast. But 99 live events, many of them under $1,500, many of them multi-day, multi-flight events, lots of great opportunities to go and throw your hat into the ring and compete with a bracelet. Several seniors events, just the one ladies event that I saw for the ladies main there, and a ton of mixed games. I think they really did a good, they really covered their bases well, I think, here. Did we miss anything, or is there anything exciting that we should cover?
No, not really. I mean, I did mention briefly, there are, if you, I just mentioned, mentioned the daily deep stacks that will be running daily satellites. As in last year, these satellites will be for either casino chips or for entry into a designated event. Some events are direct entry. It's basically you, like for the bigger buying events, if you win, you get entry into that event. You can't basically unregister. But some events, like I said, like every night there's a daily satellite for like $2,000 in chips or $5,000 in chips for 1,000 chips, and those are just treated like cash. So you can just go to the cage, and if you wanted to use that $1,000 for something else or to buy into a tournament, that's that option is up to you. But if you go to WSOP.com/2024, you will see these links to the schedule, and eventually you'll see links to the structure sheets and a bunch of other information that will be released in the weeks to come before the WSOP starts.
Fantastic. And just to clarify, so you're saying that some of these satellites, the winner will not be transferable. It'll be specific to the winner and tied to a specific event. But other satellites, they may just have like casino chips that you can redeem for cash or buy into different tournaments, or you could transfer. Like, it's really just cash at that point.
Right. Basically, events that are over $10,000. That awarding seats into events that are over 10,000 are direct. That's basically a seat into the event.
Great. And I guess the last, because we're going to wrap this up because we're coming up on 2 hours. This has been fantastic. Kevin, the one question, if people register early, I want to just clarify, for some events, will their chips be in the well? For some events, will their chips be on the table before they arrive? Is there a rule for knowing which one's which?
Well, so what happened last year, it was that basically for pretty much every event except the main, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, if you register before the start of the tournament, chips are in play from the start.
Okay, whether you're there or not. Yeah.
Right. In previous years, like the weekend events, your chips weren't in play until you actually sat down. But I think there was a lot of problems, in the past where people would just register early and then show up whenever they wanted. And while there's people in line, they're getting upset about seeing people just seeing empty seats when they would like to play. So I think they made this again. That really wasn't made announced until right before the series started. So I'm going to go with the assumption that this year chips will be in play from the start for pretty much every event. Maybe the main event will be the one exception, but if you follow me on Twitter at WSOP or on my own Twitter account at Kevmath, I will definitely be repeating that information several times during the series.
You're going to be repeating it several times a day. I think
yes.
The way the poker community retains information, you're going to get pinged on this several times a day, starting around mid-May, I think, and going right through.
I agree. I'm the one that's falling on the grenade for the poker community. So
it's true.
I am happy to do it.
You're the poker social media czar. You're the guy to talk to when it comes to this kind of stuff. So heavy is the head that wears the crown, I guess. Yeah, Joseph?
Yeah, just have you heard anything about the broadcast schedule and what's being covered and what's not? I know there was some heat last year for the ladies event. Do you know if they've rectified that or what the schedule is?
I have not. No, I think the Poker Go will announce their schedule. I would assume in March. At least they'll have a general idea of what they're going to stream. But I think last year they did stream a lot of events on YouTube and PokerGo, the PokerGo's YouTube channel and the PokerGo servers itself. I think we can expect a lot of the smaller buy events would appear on PokerGo, and the bigger events. I'm sorry. Let me start again. The smaller buy events will be on the PokerGo YouTube channel. The bigger events will be on the PokerGo service, especially the main event.
Cool. Well, Kevin, I can't thank you enough for coming on to the show here and sharing all this fantastic information with us. Honestly, I feel like, like Christmas morning every year, knowing we get to have the one and only Kevmath here on the show to break the schedule here in real time. It's such a treat. You work so hard to do this. You put up with so much crap from so many people in the poker community. My hat's off to you, sir, and just thanks for all your fantastic efforts. They don't go unnoticed. I can say that for real.
No, I agree there. No, I definitely when I'm walking around both tournament areas, there's a lot of people that thank me for what I do, and I am thankful for them. That I'm thankful to be doing it. Hopefully will be there once again. It would be my 8th year doing the WSOP Twitter account, and I look forward to it every year.
Nice. Well, if you're down there this summer and you see like a surprisingly large, friendly fellow, that's Kevin. I'm not the only person that people walk up to and say, "Whoa, you're bigger than I was expecting." Kevin actually makes me look tiny. But there's room in one of those huge hands of his for a beer, I'm pretty sure. So if you see the guy out there working hard, try and solve that problem. See if you can slide a cold beer into one of those big mitts of his to say thanks for all you do, Kevin. And I will say thanks from everyone here at Rec Poker for being such a fantastic, bright light in the poker community and spreading your light and warmth around. You're a great guy, and it's our pleasure to have you here on the Wrecking Crew. Wrecking Crew member, Kevin Mathers, everybody. What a freaking guy. Congratulations on all your success, and this is fantastic.
Thank you very much, Jim, and I look forward to seeing you, Kim, Joseph, and everyone else in the Rec Poker community in Las Vegas this summer.
Can't wait. Well, we'll get a chance to talk to Kevin again sometime in April, I hope. And so if you've got any more specific questions for him, make sure to join us on YouTube for that edition of the podcast. Kim, Joseph, is there anything else that you want to get out before we roll on out of here on this special edition of the Rec Poker Podcast? Looks pretty good. So then I just want to say thank you to Kim and Joseph for chiming in and joining me here. Thanks to Kevin Mathers, of course, for everything he does for the poker community. Thanks to the Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino. We couldn't do what we do here at Rec Poker without their support. And, let me share my audio because we're getting out of here. Here we go. Here it is. Thanks for joining us for the Rec Poker Podcast. We'll see you again soon, I hope.